Hello everyone, welcome back. So I wanted to share my first reading that I've done with the Vision Quest Tarot, which I did a review of recently. And when I get a new deck, which is very rare these days, I just pull a few cards. I don't do a heavy reading or anything like that. I don't feel it's, personally, I don't feel it's necessary to do such an in-depth reading unless you feel strongly called to. Sometimes there are individuals that feel a deck is calling them so strongly that they just start pulling cards and a message starts appearing. But with me, I haven't had that kind of intensity with a deck. That usually comes after, reviewing and going through the images and the energy from decks. But here, with the Vision Quest, I'm going to show you this in case you missed the review. This is the box for it, by Diane, Sylvie Winter, and Joe Dosset. The first cards that I pulled was the 10 of Water, 6 of Fire, 9 of Earth. And because it is dealing with the cycles of the seasons with this particular deck, and the energies of fire, air, water, earth, and how those energies get used and how they serve their purpose throughout the suits. Before I pulled these three cards, I decided to work with, again, I've got sidetracked, I wanted to work with an animal guide, an animal spirit guide. So I got the Wildwood Tarot, not the Wildwood Tarot, the Animal Spirit Tarot, and I just start shuffling, and I pulled the bear. The bear's been showing up in a few readings recently, specifically readings that I've done for a few people. There's been not so much this card in particular, but more or less the energy of the bear has been showing up in the Wildwood Tarot with some readings that I've done. So it's very comforting to find the energy still there when I did this reading. So I pulled the bear, and then I pulled these three cards. And what I wanted to do is, whenever I get a new deck, and if it feels very strongly relating to another deck, I like to pull out certain decks and see how they communicate, how they work together. So the first few decks that I pulled out, this is the Wildwood Tarot, Crow's Magic, and the other deck that I wanted to try and connect with was The Witch's Wisdom by Phyllis Carrot, because this deck, the Vision Quest, deals with connection to nature, which Native American tribes are inherent with that. They have a connection to nature, animal, the source, and the power of earth. And so when I was going through this deck, the Vision Quest, and it's very pip oriented. If you look again at that review that I did, you'll see the images relating more to the suits. Like here, fire for wands or bows. Earth, we have elements of vegetables, and then of course here, water. We have the vessel that's here. I decided to try the Witch's Wisdom in addition to the Wildwood Tarot and the Crow's Magic. And you know what? Witch's Wisdom just didn't feel fully connected. It has a different energy. It is a Wiccan inspired deck, And we have images. I'm just going to show you a few cards from the Witch's Wisdom. Okay, it has, imagery connecting how animals are in their environment under certain situations. Here we have a dragonfly. There's 6 of fire, funny enough. There's 6 of fire there. Messenger of air. The artwork could be a little bit similar, but just energy-wise. The Witch's Wisdom held something different, and I really could not connect the imagery fully of the Witch's Wisdom with the Vision Quest. And that's totally fine. Not all decks are going to work together or stay in line together with their energy. Now, when I work with decks that I'm trying to, I call these companion decks to read along with a primary deck. We can have images that are similar, but the energy could be off. It just doesn't fully work. Or the energy could be great, but the imagery could be a little bit challenging. And the reason why I say it like that is when you do a reading for someone and you're mixing decks, when you do your interpretation, the reader who may or may not know anything about the tarot or is proficient with the tarot, you need to make sure that the way that you are interpreting that reading with the different decks, that the images and your words, your messages are intermingling together. You want to have something that as you're explaining the reading, that the cards from other decks are intertwining. You don't want to have something that's completely different and you're doing your interpretation and you may be making reference to a card where it just doesn't, sit well. Let me, here, I'll just give one example here. Okay, 10 of Earth. All right. Okay, so 10 of Earth is the next step. This can sort of relate to the 9 of Earth, but the energy in this card doesn't move in the direction, so you have to be mindful the decks that you work with when you're doing a reading primarily around a deck that the focus is. So for instance, this is where you start your reading in and you say, hey, I want to pull some cards from another deck. Make sure that those decks are speaking together, because if the imagery doesn't work, it could conflict, it could collide with the overall feel, the overall connection of the reading that you're doing, and it could confuse or mislead the person that you're reading for. Okay, so let me share you what I pulled with the Crow's Magic and the Wildwood Tarot. So basically what I did is, this is just a comparison, okay? Crow's Magic is right here. This, I only did one card, so I didn't pull any other cards from the Animal Spirit Oracle deck. But what I want to do is, I want to, as I just mentioned, I want to compare the images that you see. Okay, so here, 10 of Water. Okay. Beautiful. We have the fall of water. We've got the rainbow. We're seeing the abundance in this card. Okay. And I love the energy that I'm feeling here as this energy of feminine spirit is just standing and just receiving all of this energy that's coming in. Okay, so we have fulfillment. And I have to apologize, this camera that I've had the last few years is kind of limiting with the focusing, so I wish I could zoom in and out so you could see these cards. So here, okay, Here we have 10 of vessels. Okay, happiness. The energy here is a little bit more aggressive with the splashing. The environment here is very lively. Okay, just in comparison here. Same kind of energy, but this is soothing. This almost feels like a spiritual fulfillment of the soul, nourishing, being fulfilled, emotionally, spiritually. This feels like it's just a rush of water, like it's an abundance of joy and happiness. Okay, so these two I can relate together, not so much because of the landscape, but just the energy that I feel. They can give two different perspectives on the same card. Here, 10 of Cups. Okay, so here's a pip version. Let me see, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 4 falls on top. Here the 10 of the waters relating to 10 of the waterfalls. Here we have the 10 of Cups. Okay. And again, with the crow's magic, we're working with the energy of the crow. The crow is seen as the messenger. I'm going to show you this medallion, which I am very happy, and I think I may start collecting a few more of these. This is made out of raku, R-A-K-U. It's a clay fire clayed piece of work, and I saw this at one of the metaphysical stores that I visited a while ago, and I want to get a few more. And there's a message on the back. Let me just show you this. It says, "I am fearless." Okay. So anyhow, just to relate that medallion to the 10 of Cups. Okay, so when I do a companion reading, again, companion reading is a deck that I feel works good together. So with this deck here, I'm not going to be focusing so much on the keywords. Here we're seeing everything is opened. The wings are wide open. This is an expression of openness, of willingness to let go emotionally, so to move on. And I like what's interesting here is we see the transition. We see coming out of the darker part of what the cups can represent in the suit, and showing the outcome and where we take this energy from. We've manifested this energy here with the crow, the eagle. I'm relating it more to a crow because of the shape of the beak. But the message here is of release. And I like the fiery coloring that I see on the left side of the wing, which is showing that energy also that we see here. We're seeing this movement. We see this manifestation, this excitement, if you will, for achieving this. Okay, so these 3 cards here, and you'll see in comparison to these other cards, it goes for me with the energy and also visually. Now visually, if I flip this card over, okay, I'm going to place this here. Okay. I think we could focus on the movement of the 10 waterfalls, and then we have the 10 cups. Okay, so here we're dealing with the visual of the pips, and then here we're seeing the movement of the waterfalls and the rainbow. So again, it's how you connect different decks with your primary deck that you're reading with. Okay, you'll get different energies. Visually, these two obviously work together. They're almost a similar color palette, but this here, with the crow's magic, it gives a different twist into the meaning of these cards, and it can for a reading that you do. The crow's magic, I'm beginning to feel as I explore this deck more, I'm beginning to feel that it has It's not a dark deck, even though most of the backdrops of the Crow's Magic is black or dark. There's something that's almost revealing with the Crow's Magic that shows what's actually going on in the subconscious. This is the activity. These are the thoughts, feelings, actions. Where you're placing your energy the most in, and that's where I'm feeling is coming from the Crow's Magic overall. Okay, the other card I got here is, it's a beautiful card too, Six of Fire. Okay, so we have victory. We start seeing this movement of energy. We're also taking a moment too to to see what has been coming into shape. We see the sun that's rising, and all of the suits, okay, cups, wands, swords, pentacles. The journey is going to be good and also challenging, and that's the whole part of the minor arcana. We're going to have those challenges. The swords, the RWS, a lot of people see that as a very challenging suit because it is a very heavy, almost non-inspiring suit, because it shows what's going on in the mind and how we process things and how we hold on to things. It shows fear. But anyhow, with the Six of Fire, again, we're just taking a look. We're taking a moment to reflect on how things are moving. This is just a wonderful deck. And when I say that with a deck, I truly mean that. Because I rarely say to a lot of decks, this is truly a wonderful deck. So here with the Wildwood Tarot, okay, we're seeing abundance. Okay, and as you can see here, almost similar color palette. The Wildwood is a little bit more pen and ink. This is I don't know, the medium, more painterly, I would say. But the scenes are different. So you can see how when you take the Six of Fire from the Vision Quest, and I like how the arrows are pointing up towards the sun of vitality, energy. And then here, look at the Six of Bows with the Wildwood Tarot. These are actually placed in a circle. The movement of these wands are in a stationary position. In the sense that they're placed, they're in a movement placement because of being in a circle. But then we have the fire. We have the fire in the center, very similar to the sun. And seeing where this energy, and I like how the bows here are pointing inward to the fire. It's like that's where the energy is being pulled from and influenced from. It's what we take with, it's how we use these tools, the influence that we get from the fire outwardly. Okay, so it's just taking a moment here to place this energy and to create and to draw in what we need most in whatever direction we're moving towards. Here with the Crow's Magic, let's see what we have here. This card's been popping up too in a few readings. I'm not going to go, I'm almost going to start talking astrology. Let's just focus on the energy here. So, interesting enough, our Six of Wands here. Okay. Look at the energy of the wands. If you could see it very clearly. But the wands are actually feathers from the crow. And obviously the feathers of the crow is what is part of their characteristics. It's what they use, to deliver messages. The energy here of these six feathers are just sort of floating, but they're there for guidance. Also, we have the bear. Okay, I pulled this first and then this came afterwards, so it's nice to see this anthropomorphic or morphic creature show up as the Six of Wands. The bear is of stability, of strength, and of wisdom. So what I see here is the knowledge with these cards, how we use our energy, our fiery energy, how we use it. And if we have tools that we're working with, resources that we're working with, we want to be mindful and use them in a mindful, clear manner, so that when we make our choices towards our goals, they move in the right direction. Okay? And wands can be fast energy depending on the placement of the other cards. So with our original reading, I'm going to turn these over so you can focus on the cards originally from the Vision Quest. It's how we direct this energy. So with this card, as I mentioned, with the Crow's Magic, I'm feeling that this is relating more to the psyche, more of what's going on inside. Primal instincts, tapping into that inner guidance, trusting it, knowing how to move forward, when to move forward. And here we have the keywords, archetype, victor. Interesting enough for me, some of the keywords in this deck don't really resonate with me very much, but that's, the keywords are just that. You can either use them in a reading or just focus on the energy and the imagery of the cards, do your own reading. So all these words you don't necessarily have to take. They are there for guidance. Okay, so let's go to the Nine of Earth. This is a wonderful reading, and I'll give you my interpretation just of these three cards from the Vision Quest. Okay, so Nine of Earth. We have the work, the investment that we've made into something that is of great value. Working towards food, working to our own health, our well-being. This card shows a healthy state. It shows like all the work, no gain. You have to go through a lot to reach that, and work with the resources that you have, and we start seeing the growth. This card is very reminiscent of harvest, the harvest season, which will start hitting during the time of August, when we go into Lammas and into fall. So these two cards that I pulled, let's do the Wildwood Tarot, see completely different. Nine of Stones, tradition. And here we have a shaman. Let's see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, yeah. But here, these monoliths are forces of energy. This card takes more of a spiritual meaning. Getting down to the roots, getting down to the simplicity of things, traditional values. Going down and eliminating, going down, I mean, into yourself, eliminating any excess. It's always great to get down to the basics. A lot of people I've been seeing in the tarot community, they're starting to strip down some of their decks, which is good to see. And it's not so much, it's good to see in the sense that, they're lessening the load on some of the decks, but also the decks that they are starting to resonate with, it's good because we're starting to see a growth, we're starting to see a change in the tarot community and how they have their relationship with their decks. And I think that's very important, whether you're a collector or you're a reader, the connection that you have with your decks. And you'll know which ones will be sticking around for a long time, or the ones that just, they've been gathering dust and it's time to move on. Anyhow, our Nine of Earth, okay? Here, this is more of a spiritual interpretation for the Nine of Earth here from the Vision Quest. It's like how we are feeling, what is our perspective during this time with the Nine of Stones. Okay. Color palette's different though. Okay. In this one, obviously, we see a lot of, we see colors, we see harvest, we see the efforts, what has been produced with all the work that's been put into our goals. Well done. It's the Nine of Earth. Here we have the Nine of Coins. And so when you see this card here, completely different. I think out of the three cards that I pulled, these two cards, they may beg to differ with the reading relating to this card. But here we're seeing how, and I actually like the keywords here of harmony and chemistry. We're seeing how things that we're working with, our resources, are working together. And I feel with the element of earth, the pentacles, the coins, it's very important with that suit that you work with the tools, you work with the resources, you work with what's available, and you have to be creative if you have limited resources or tools, and what you can work with and create something of great abundance, of something that can become more tenfold in coming back to you. So you start small, like with the Ace of Earth or Ace of Pentacles coins. You start somewhere and you start building up. Okay, you don't do this quickly. Earth is just that. It's a slow moving element. It is something that is time aware. It takes time to get to this point. Patience. Okay. But here, with these other two cards with the Wildwood Tarot, you can get a different perspective as to how you can approach this. Take the spiritual side. How can you reach this this state, Nine of Earth, through the interpretation of the Wildwood Tarot? Take a traditional, simplistic approach to it. Okay, Nine of Coins. We have the strength of the lions here. Determination. Seeing what your environment is. See what your limitations are. Seeing what is there again for you, and what is your potential, and what you can make from it. Okay. Again, it's about being creative. Alrighty, so I want to wrap up here. Guidance of the bear. Okay, so for my reading here of the Ten of Water, Six of Fire, and Nine of Earth with the Vision Quest Tarot. Yeah, it looks like a very good reading, right? We have happiness, we have emotional fulfillment, and actually these three cards fill more or less the direction of where I'm moving at this moment. This is the only card that I will be working on or working with if it comes up in other readings, for quite some time. Okay, remember what I was saying, 9 of Earth. This is Earth, it's slow moving, it's going to take time. Here with the 6 of Fire, to get to a point of completion and success, you got to have movement. Okay, and you have to keep that movement in a very energetic way, in a very positive manner. Okay, now there will be times where things won't work out the way they will, but always keep that look of moving ahead. That's where we get the 6 of Fire. Okay, I won't say this is necessarily victorious, but it's showing that the direction that you're moving towards is where you need to be. 10 of Water. This is what you're feeling at this moment while all this energy is going on. Okay, the 10 of Water for me has been, I'm not going to say bittersweet, because there were sacrifices that I've had to make, but those sacrifices, as I keep moving forward, will open this up a bit. I will start feeling this like, okay, now I'm starting to feel confident with where I'm going. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling content. I'm not feeling so much like this card here with the Wildwood. I don't feel this kind of rush of feelings. That's probably where I was about 2 months ago. This is where I'm feeling right now. Okay, it's slow fulfillment, but it's there. Okay, and again, this is all the environment that you place yourself in. Again here, 10 of Cups. It's how we're reaching that happiness, that inner connection to where we want to be here with the 9 of Earth. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I will do what it takes. Universe providing direction for me and my own instincts, so on and so forth. I will get to where I need to be. So, but I do know it's going to take time. So I thank the guidance of the bear here, reminding me the patience, the slow moving, but also trusting your instincts and guidance, and know when something doesn't feel right and know when to move forward. Alrighty, so that's the reading here with the Vision Quest Tarot. I will be working with this deck. It's going to be my deck for the summer. And I'm looking forward to connecting with this, especially because it holds the Native American energy of healing and animal spirits and connecting to nature and working with those power sources. So I look forward to working with this and sharing it with you. I'm very happy about it. But anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Any questions that you may have about this deck, feel free to leave them in the comments. I have a few things coming up, but I'm going to wind this video up. Just stay tuned. Hit the notification bell. Let people know about this channel if you like what I have to share with you. I'm doing lives every now and then when I have the time. And boy, this is very fingerprinty. So let me turn this around. And that's it. You can find me on Instagram. I have a website. If you're interested in me doing readings, you can reach me there as well. But anyhow, thank you so much for taking the time and listening to my connection with these different companion decks of the Wildwood Tarot, Crow's Magic, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck with the Vision Quest Tarot. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and I will see you all soon.